If you're watching this video, odds are you just snagged a new set of Konig wheels or you're shopping around for your next set of wheels. And today, we got my very own Konig Heliograms that we're gonna be taking a look at today before I go ahead and throw them on my car. So, if you're looking for a new set of wheels or you wanna learn anything more about them, make sure to stop on over to Martiworks and check them out. But we're gonna dig into these things and take a look at them. So like I mentioned before, these are some brand new Konig wheels. These are the Konig Heliograms that I got for my 2011 BMW 328i. Now these are going to be an 18 by 8.5 plus 32 wheel in a 5 by 120 bolt pattern. Now, I don't know if these are going to necessarily work the best on these cars, but I think it's gonna work. But ideally, I think these were made for the new, or not the new Civic Type R, but the FK8 Civic Type R, because they also have a 5 by 120 bolt pattern. Some people like to run the 18s, especially in more of a narrower width. So I think that's what those were more specifically designed for, but I think it's gonna work just fine on my BMW E90, so we're gonna give it a go. So what to expect with Konig wheels? As you can see here, they have a good amount of packaging on them. So there's a bunch of cardboard, there's a bunch of stuff around the sides. What that's gonna do is help protect against a thing called box rash or box burn. It's actually a real thing that can happen during shipping, especially when they're coming this far from overseas, and you don't want them to affect your paint because, believe it or not, with how much these things can move around in there, the friction between the cardboard and the surface of your wheels can burn that paint or essentially rub it off. It's like sandpaper. So we got nice plastic protector here. Everything comes in a bag. You got a bunch of corner pieces and stuff to help it from sliding around as much. And then of course we have the net itself. So as you can see, Konig flow form. We're getting a nice look at the face of these brand new Konig Heliograms. And here we go. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! So these are one of the newer designs from Konig that's come out in the last few years or so. They usually try to introduce a new wheel or a couple new wheels every other year. So I think these are on their second year of production, but like I said, it is one of their newer designs in their flow formed line. So these are pretty lightweight. I actually looked up the weight on these. These should come in at right around 18.5 pounds per wheel for the 18 by 8.5. Now what's interesting about that is when you compare it to, let's say, the Enkei RPF1 in a similar size, they actually come in slightly lighter, which is actually really nice. The Enkei RPF1s and 8 by 8.5 come in right around 18.8 pounds, and these come in around 18.5, so just slightly lighter, which is awesome. I honestly would put these in a similar category as Enkei as far as it comes to quality and construction and all that sort of stuff. The only difference is that Konig actually tends to make some new models outside of the RPF1 every other year, so that's kind of nice. Some of the benefits you get with a flow form wheel, obviously like I mentioned the lightweight before, but they're also going to be just as strong even though you're shaving off that weight, because essentially the barrel of these wheels is going to be forged when they draw it out. So that adds a bunch of strength to these without adding a bunch of unnecessary weight and a bunch of extra material. You also notice if you look at the inside of the lips on these wheels where the bead sits, these are actually the knurled bead seats on here, which if you're in a performance setting, these are actually going to help a ton. A lot of the guys that drift on these things and things like that, especially with higher horsepower platforms, or if you're drag racing or something like that, anything that would allow for low pressure settings in your tires and high horsepower, this is going to help keep that wheel and tire together and you're not going to be slipping. So that's a really cool thing to see. So that's something that is derived from motorsports brought into these wheels. So on most sizes, these are going to be standard, but looking at their website, some of their bigger sizes, like their wider 18-inch wheels, even up to their 19-inch wheels in this size, these are going to be a special order they have listed, but this is definitely an option that you can get, which I think is huge. Will I need them on my daily driver? Probably not, but it is there, and it's something just to show that Konig is very invested and very active in the motorsport scene, and they take that into pretty much every wheel that they do. The only other thing that we have in the box is our center caps, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these here. So the cap here is aluminum, then it's got a plastic insert so you can clip it in nice, but these are some pretty nice center caps, and these install really easily, and you can actually pop them out if you need to as well. They actually recommend that you remove these from the wheel for track use apparently, which is interesting, but you can pop them up pretty easily. We're just gonna pop this one in here. So the finish we have here is the titanium metallic, and I think it looks really, really good. There's a ton of metal flake in this finish, and it really pops when the light hits it. So seeing these outside on the car for the first time, I think are gonna look really, really good. The other finish that they have for the Heliogram is a matte bronze finish. So I was actually kind of torn between both finishes because they both look really good in this design. But with the white car, I think I wanted to go with something a little more subtle with the titanium metallic here, so I'm happy I went with this, but the bronze does look really good as well. As far as sizes, I was actually really surprised. Usually with wheel companies, they have a specific wheel, it's kind of their flagship wheel, and that comes in like all the sizes, huge variety of sizes, bolt patterns, offsets, things like that. The Heliogram, being one of their newer wheels, actually does come in a surprisingly huge amount of sizes and bolt pattern options, all the way from 15 up to 19 by 11. These are absolutely wide range of sizes here. 4x100, 4x108, 5x100, 5x108 for all the Ford guys out there, 114.3, 5x112, 5x120. The entire range is pretty much covered. So if you have a car, you probably can find something for it. Now I know what you're probably thinking, Giles, this is probably a little bit of overkill for your daily driver. Why were you focused on getting something, you know, lightweight, rotary forged? Well, it comes down to a couple of reasons. One, I actually do really like Konig. We've followed them for quite a while, got to know those guys over there quite a bit, and really do just believe in the products that they made, and they've been making them for a long time, and they continue to produce some high quality product. The other thing is that even with a daily driver, even though because I'm not like taking it out on the track or anything like that, or really caring about lap times, it is nice to have a lighter wheel. It just feels better on the road. You get better response out of it. There is an improvement in handling. That is because you're reducing that unsprung weight. Basically, anything that isn't lifted up by the suspension of the vehicle is going to affect that unsprung weight. So if anything you can save there is going to improve the overall feel and drivability of your car. And even better than that, you can even gain some miles per gallon as well. So that's always a benefit, especially with a daily driver. So pretty soon here, we're gonna be throwing these on and give them the old real world test and see how they hold up to the harsh weather conditions of Wisconsin here. And I can't wait to see them on the vehicle and yeah, give them a go. So if you guys are looking to snag a set of Konig wheels, whether the Heliograms or anything else from their line, don't forget you can mod your car at Martiworks.